with us. Thank you a lot for attending this invitation. And I'd like you to start talking a bit. Perhaps you can talk about yourself a bit, and then
Sure.
people can get to know about you.
Yeah, so thank you all for having me today. I miss Brazil a lot, and it's nice for me to have these chances to reconnect a little bit, even though I know I'm supposed to be doing a lot of the talking today. I also want to hear from you and hear how things are in Caxias do Sul right now and the surrounding cities. I don't know where everyone is located. But yeah, so thank you for having me. My name is Adam. I am 26 years old. 2 years ago, I spent 9 months in Caxias do Sul working at UX through the Fulbright program, which is a program from the American government that sends students and recent graduates and scholars abroad to either teach English or do research, with the idea that you can learn from people from other countries and share your cultures. It was a really fun experience, and I'm very grateful I was able to do it. And these programs, Fulbright is a program that takes place all over the world, and there are also opportunities for people from other countries to come to the United States to do research or to teach Portuguese, for example. So if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, you can ask Professor Samira, and she can let me know, and I can try to supply more information to you. So right now, I mentioned before, I work in New York City. Usually I live in Morristown, New Jersey, which is a small city about an hour on the train outside of New York City. And I work with a program called the Scholar Rescue Fund. And the Scholar Rescue Fund is an organization that works with professors from all over the world who are in danger. And that could be because they live in a war zone. But my program helps take these professors and find universities where they can work in safety so they can keep teaching, keep doing research without having to worry about their families or their lives. So I help with that program. And yeah, in my free time, I really enjoy reading. I've started running as well. It's a fun quarantine habit because it's the one thing you're allowed to do outside. And I like to do crossword puzzles as well.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's super cool. That's nice.
Did you say you still attending university?
I'm sorry?
Did you say that you are still attending university?
No, I graduated in 2016. So I studied humanities, which is a very broad, interdisciplinary topic. We looked at sort of, I went to a Catholic school, and the humanities major was sort of about what Catholic intellectualism looks like. Mm-hmm. And I also studied communication, and I was really interested in intercultural communication.
That's great. Uh-huh. And for you've been in Brazil for a few days. How long you been here for?
For 9 months.
9 months.
Yeah, I arrived in February, at the end of February 2018, and I left in November. And I stayed I came into Brazil knowing very little Portuguese. I knew some Spanish from high school and from college. And I lived with a host mom, and she did not speak English. So I learned Portuguese that way. And by learn Portuguese, I mean, I learned how to communicate with her because she was very good at understanding what we were saying. And sometimes it was
a good way to learn Portuguese, because then you had to speak Portuguese.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. It was a good experience.
Uh-huh. I have few students here, and they have some questions for you.
Yeah, please.
Can they ask the questions, so Sami?
Sure, go on.
Who is gonna be the first to ask? Come on, Ana Julia. You ask your first question to Adam. Adam, this is Ana Julia. Ana Julia, just show your... Ana, mostra sua mão assim. Show your hand. Yeah, this is Ana Julia. He's gonna ask you a question, Adam.
Have you tried Brazilian food? Do you like it?
Yes, this is my favorite question. I really like talking about food. What I miss the most is the churrasco, especially in like in Caxias do Sul. It's just I didn't care about beef that much before I came to Brazil, but then I had churrasco and I was like, oh, it's so good. I see why it's so good now. So that's the first thing I miss. I also really like the grape juice from the suco like integral, right? Again, I didn't think I would have strong feelings about grape juice, but then I came to Brazil and I really miss it. It's very good grape juice. So those are things I think about Caxias. I miss the fresh fruit juices. I think Brazil is very good with that. The desserts, I'm a big chocolate guy and I don't like sweetened condensed milk as much. So the desserts were like, sort of miss the United States. But the rest of the food was the like salgados and the churrasco were all very good.
Ana, do you have another question to ask? Would you like to ask another one? Você gostaria de perguntar outra, Ana? Pergunta mais uma. Escolhe. Choose the one you want.
Okay.
Adam, they prepared some questions to ask you, so she's just going through her questions to choose the one she wants to ask.
Tell us about America. What is it like to live in there?
What is it like to live in America? So I think I remember when I first came back from Brazil, and I suddenly realized how easy it was. Sorry, you ask a very good question, and I want to make sure I have an interesting answer for you. Because I grew up in the United States, this is normal for me. It's tough for people who are in America to understand what it's like to live in America without traveling. So I remember in my last few weeks in Brazil, I was sick and I had to go to the doctors, and I did not know how to navigate the healthcare system. I had a cartel SUS, but I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know the words for what was happening to me. I didn't know how much small talk, how to be friendly with the person behind the counter. Just little cultural things I had a sense for, but didn't know how to do perfectly. And I came back to the United States, and I went to the dentist. And it was so easy. I knew exactly what to say to the person behind the counter. I knew what was going to happen. I knew how to pay for my dentist visit. And it just felt so easy because that was what I knew. So yeah, to live in America.
Sometimes we take for granted what we have, and then we get there and say, gosh, how easy it is.
Yeah, but
to get home.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you would have the same if some of you have traveled before, of how hard it is to be in a different country. And
it's not easy.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most difficult things in life is to be a foreigner.
Yeah, I felt like a child at some points because like if you grow up in a country, you know how that country works, and I had to learn everything.
Yeah, you are in control. It's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good question. I'll keep thinking about it to see if I can come up with a better answer, but that's a good question.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What about my other students? Mari, now it's your turn. Agora é seu. Oh, this is Mari.
Have you listened to Brazilian music? Do you like it?
Perguntinha, tá bom.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had, what's it called? I just came across the song, is it Yote Pega? Yote Pega? Is that the song?
Eu te pego.
Yeah.
I can te pego.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but I just found that on YouTube again, and I was like, wow, yeah, I enjoy this. My sister is obsessed with the, oh shoot. It's being, what's it called? The one song, it's like the funk song with the, So Care of Rao, my sister is obsessed with, so she plays that once in a while here. So Care of Rao.
Carnaval.
Quebral. Só quebral.
Okay, Cabral.
Yeah. So I miss.
They are naughty songs, Adam. I think you shouldn't talk about that.
I'm just responding to the
yes, go on.
I think when I hear Brazilian music, I miss the memories of being in Brazil and being like at a party with friends, for example, when that music was playing in the background. And yeah, also my host mom likes to listen to 80s music from the 1980s. So it was fun to hear what the 1980s music sounded like with Portuguese lyrics, for example. So those are my memories of of Brazilian music. I'm not a big music person in general, but that's what I associate with music.
Mari, could you ask another question?
Okay. Will you have time to visit some places in Brazil?
I want to come back. Brazil is such a big country, and there is so much to see. And I really liked the experience of being in Brazil because even when I was trying to use what little Portuguese I knew, people were very friendly. They were very helpful, and I miss having that connection with people. That if you go to a foreign country and you don't speak the language, you can't talk to people. And I liked that a lot. I liked talking to my Uber driver, for example. I liked talking to the person who ran my Airbnb when I traveled a little bit in Brazil. I think, so I do want to come back. I want to visit my host family again. And I would like to see more of the Northeast because I didn't really see a lot of that when I was in Brazil because I was in the South.
You always in the south of Brazil when you come to Brazil?
I traveled around a little bit during, I had my mid-year for Fulbright for my program. My mid-year seminar was in Salvador. So I was able to get a taste of the Northeast. That was very cool. And I was in Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro as well.
That's great, John.
I have to go visit. So.
Yeah, you've been walking around.
Yeah. I was very lucky.
Agora, cadê a Cauane? Tá aqui. Cauane, ask some questions to Adam too. Please do it.
Cal, okay, let me unmute. You have to unmute you. Okay, that's good.
Are you having a good time in Brazil? What caught your attention the most?
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
Are you having a good time in Brazil? What caught your attention the most?
So what colored my experience the most?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Or your attention. What caught your attention the most in Brazil?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. It's hard to hear sometimes.
Olá, Kawane, come on.
Are you having a good time in Brazil? What caught your attention the most?
Adaptation the most?
What called your attention, Adam?
Called my attention. I'm sorry, Kwani. That's what called my attention the most. Ooh, these are all very good questions that I haven't thought about in a while. So what was interesting for me for being in Caxias do Sul was thinking about how my life, what I was seeing every day, compared to the stereotypes I had in my head before I came to Brazil. So before I came to Brazil, I thought all of Brazil was like Rio. It's beaches, people like soccer, and Carnival happens in the spring, or I guess in the summer. And I didn't really know. Oh, and like mosquitoes were a problem, and Zika virus, and that was it. But when I came to Caxias do Sul, it was very interesting to see the influence of Italians and Germans, and seeing also the influence of the gauchos in the area. It was really cool because it challenged my ideas of what Brazil looked like, and it helped me appreciate how diverse Brazil is. And even I have a little bit of experience with Italy, and it was especially interesting for me because in my region of the United States, a lot of the Italian immigrants are from South Italy. And my understanding is in Caxias do Sul and around there, the immigrants are more from the north of Italy. And so it was even interesting to see how my idea of what is Italian too was challenged. And I found that very rewarding.
That's great.
Some more questions. Somebody else?
What do you do in America?
Yes, so right now, when I came back from Brazil, I spent a long time looking for a job. I should have started that before I left Brazil. But I looked for a job, and then I found the job. And yeah, basically just working full-time in New York. And then on the weekends, my girlfriend lives in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from my house. So I would go visit her sometimes.
Very cool. More questions from these girls? Somebody else maybe? Kyle, you finish your questions? Do you still have questions?
Was
Sorry. You can go.
Was it hard to fly to another country in this pandemic period?
Yeah, so thankfully I have not traveled since the pandemic started. I am in the United States right now, and I have been in the United States for about 2 years now. So thankfully I don't have to travel. But my sister is getting a master's degree in China, and she came back for Christmas, and that was right before the coronavirus came out in China, and her program told my sister, don't come back, stay where you are. You're not allowed to come back to China. So for someone who needed to travel, she was told, just stop, stay in the United States. And all her stuff, all her things are still in China, so she needs to figure out a way to get her things from China back to the United States.
What an experience.
Yeah, it's never a dull moment with her program in China. It's always something.
True. Renata, can you go?
Yeah, my question was if your experience in Brazil changed your view of the Brazilians, how you see the Brazilian people.
Yeah, like I said, I I have such a better appreciation now for how different parts of Brazil are. And also, like, this is not a deep thought, but something I always like to think about is that people are people no matter what country they're in. And in Caxias do Sul, I like to play board games, and I found a group of people to play board games with me. And it was funny because they all hated Carnival. And I was like, oh, I thought you were supposed to like this, because everyone likes Carnival. But no, like some people don't like to like go out and party, and some people don't like Carnival. It's like, people are people. But I have it's dumb, but I have a better appreciation. I was reminded again and again that people are people no matter where you are, and I enjoyed that.
All right, people. I have some questions here, but I prefer allowing you to make the questions right now. This is a great opportunity for you to talk, right? I had the pleasure of working with Adam for a full semester, so we met like every Wednesdays and every Fridays, I guess, from 2 disciplines. And then we talked quite a lot, but maybe you are curious about him and his life and his job and the country. Go on.
Tana, no?
Yeah, I'm not forcing my students, but they know they are in charge now. They are willing to make questions. Vivi, Tana, Renata has already made the question. If not, I have questions here. I have questions about COVID-19. I don't know if you're interested if you want to talk about this. So when was like the first news you had from this disease in US? How was the reaction of people there?
The first time I remember hearing about the coronavirus at all was in early January. And I remember reading the news, and the coronavirus was happening, and there were bushfires all over in Australia. And the US looked like it was maybe going to go to war with Iran. And I was like, well, this world looks bad, like global pandemic, wildfires everywhere, World War III, like what's...
Wow.
So I remember like that happening and thinking, oh shoot, things are bad. Oh, and also that was Trump's impeachment was happening. It was a crazy time. I looked this up before because I needed to look it up. The first case in the US was January 20th. And the first case in New York was not until March 1st. And because I was working in New York, that last week in February and the first week in March, like I was being very careful on the train to not touch anything. I saw some people wear masks, but never more than 4 or 5 people. Most people were not wearing masks at that time. And then it didn't get real for me until March 12th. It's a Thursday. I really like college basketball. I enjoy watching college basketball because the team from my university is very good. So it's very easy to watch when your team is good. And there was a big tournament supposed to happen that weekend, and it was canceled. And that was the moment for me. I was like, oh shoot, this is serious. They canceled this big basketball tournament I was really looking forward to. And coincidentally, that was also my last day in my office. I went home, I took my stuff because I knew maybe something would happen. And I have been working from home since then.
Yeah, I would ask you about this routine. What major changes did you face?
I have so much more time now because before I would wake up at 6:30, I would get ready, I would have some breakfast, and then I would get a ride to the train station and ride the train for an hour, and then walk 25 minutes to my office. And I would get there for 9 o'clock, and then I would leave my office at 5 and get home at 6:30, 6:45. So all of a sudden I had 3 more hours in my day that I could use to sleep, which was nice, or to run some more. And also my birthday was in April, and as a birthday gift I got the new Animal Crossing game, New Horizons. I don't know if anyone is playing that. It's very popular in the US right now, so spend my time playing that as well. But from a work perspective, we have a happy hour, which is a happy hour is a term. Is there a term that means happy hour in Portuguese?
Usually we say the same thing, like
Oh.
a moment to get together with people like this after work or something.
Yeah. Is there a word, or is it just like a...
No, we just say happy hour. We're gonna have a happy hour now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a virtual happy hour when before the coronavirus, we would have a happy hour in person, in real life, maybe once every 2 months. But now it's every week because we want that interaction with people on a regular basis. So more time and more happy hours were the 2 biggest changes. But I also have to spend less time getting ready because I can wear my own clothes during the day. I maybe don't have to shave every day. It's a little bit more relaxed.
Okay. And perhaps my last question about this coronavirus stuff or COVID-19. I don't know. People are using both expressions.
Yeah.
Like here. Yeah.
Are people using both expressions in Brazil? I'm curious about that. Yes.
Yeah, sure. But they didn't decide if coronavirus is a male or a female guy, because some people say a COVID, the other people say o COVID. So we still don't know which is the gender of this thing. And
That's
then
fun.
my question is about people around you. Do you have somebody, maybe a friend, a distant familiar, a relative who got sick?
Yeah, so I am very lucky, and I don't know anyone personally who got sick. I know I have, for example, I have a friend whose grandmother in Italy, who is very old, passed away because of the virus, but no one I know personally. I think there is a person I used to work with, an old coworker, tested positive for the antibodies, which shows that he had the disease at one point, but it was never enough for him to be very sick or to go to the hospital. And he lived in New York, so there you go. But I'm very lucky that my family has been healthy so far.
Yeah, we don't have many cases here in the city. I'm not sure about, maybe 20, but
wow.
I know that Caxias, for example, they have more cases. And I don't know if you remember Bento Gonçalves, that is a closer city to Caxias. They have even more cases. So
really?
We are very worried about the things, not leaving home, trying to avoid things.
Yeah.
But I want to let some room for people to speak. Vivi, maybe you have questions. Tana, Ivana, Rita, go on, Elaides.
Yeah. Or tell me what you're doing during coronavirus as well. What's changed for you?
We are teaching online. That's the difference, I think.
Is teaching online better or worse?
What? Sorry?
Teaching online better or worse?
I don't have a problem with it. I like teaching online, but I miss my students, the contact. Yes, I don't know about the other teachers, if they feel the same. I don't know their opinion about it.
I think so. I think we miss the contact. I miss seeing and
Some,
maybe touching
yes.
people.
Yes. Yes. Hugging people.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That was a process of adaptation for me when I came to Brazil, was how much everyone like hugged and kissed, because that's not as normal. Like, if for a friend, sure, I'd give them a hug, but you don't kiss people who aren't like your like partner, and you don't like give your teachers hugs, and you don't give your coworkers hugs. It was, but you know, I just have to adapt to.
Must have been very awkward for you arriving at university and the professors kissing and hugging, like very informal things.
I knew it was coming, so it was okay. I don't know if this is a phrase in Portuguese, but in English there's a phrase, "When in Rome, do as the Romans do." Is it similar? Yeah,
Yes.
so when in Caxias, do as the Caxienses do.
Very funny. Questions, people? Luana, maybe, Felipe, Eduarda. Go on.
Eduarda?
There are some very quiet people, you see, like Giovanna is quiet, Carol, Jackie, they are like...
I have one. What places do you recommend to visit? Of course, after the coronavirus pass.
I recommend in the United States or in Brazil?
United States.
United States. Ooh. Well, that's okay, because I said that like Brazil is so diverse, like America is really diverse too, and there are so many different places. All right, so I will give you a recommendation that I don't think will be in any travel book. There is a city in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a state in the middle of the United States. It's just north of Chicago. You can drive to a city called Green Bay. It's about 4 hours north of Chicago. And Green Bay is where my parents both grew up. So we go and visit because my grandparents live there and my aunts and uncles live there. And Green Bay is known for its cheese and its professional football team, the Packers. And it's really cool because, first of all, the food is delicious. It's very, very typical Midwestern American food. Their hamburgers are served with extra butter on them, which is very good to eat once in a while, not so good for your body. And right in the center of town is the football stadium. And elsewhere, if you like sports, and even if you don't like sports, in other places in the US, big sports stadiums tend to be on the outskirts of cities where there isn't anything around. But here in Green Bay, it's right in the center of town, and there are houses across the street, and people paint their fences the team colors, and it's a very fun place to be. And I don't think that you would read about it in a travel book. So if you ever are in Chicago, maybe, and can take a train or a bus trip up for a long weekend in Green Bay, I would recommend. It's a fun place.
Pami, some questions, Tana, Ela. Go on.
Hello, I will ask you. when you at Caxias, do you eat polenta?
Yes, I did have polenta.
Okay, you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. But again, it's weird because polenta to me is Italian food. Like, it's not something I expected to eat in Brazil, but here in this city, it's common to eat polenta. Do some people not like polenta? Is that why you ask me?
Why? What?
Do some people not like polenta? Is it
No,
like
here is a very common food.
Okay. I didn't.
I ate today. Today I ate polenta. Yes.
Ah, there you go. I didn't know if it was like raisins, where some people love raisins and some people hate raisins. I was like, polenta's polenta. Like,
Yes.
good question.
Thank you.
My God. So Adam, maybe I can ask you some questions about learning a second language. You told us that you learned or you polished a bit your Portuguese here. And maybe you can tell us the benefits of learning a second language. How do you feel about that? And if nowadays you are learning a third language, fourth language, I don't know.
Yeah, I wish. I actually feel sad because I don't use Portuguese as much, and I can tell that I am losing my ability, and it's sad because I spent a lot of time learning the language. My reading is still good. Because I made friends with a lot of people in Brazil, and that we are friends on Facebook, and now they share memes and posts, and memes are a great way to practice your language because they're so fun. For me, I really enjoy the process of learning a new skill and improving. And for me, living in Brazil and learning Portuguese, I could feel myself improving each day. And that was really cool. The feeling of hearing a word used here and here and here and not knowing what it meant, but then finally, like, it clicks and you realize, like, I don't have an example, but when you realize, like, that's how you learn a word and that's how you learn a language. And I thought that was very cool. It was tough because before I came to Brazil, I took an audio course while I was driving to work each day, and it was very basic, just present tense, like beber, comer, like ir, like just like very basic words and phrases, but it was enough to get a start, combined with my knowledge of Spanish, to understand vaguely what was going on. But in Brazil, I said, I'm going to have to try. I might look very silly, but I'd rather look silly and learn than look silly and not learn, which is going to happen if I don't try to speak the language. And so basically, the experience of learning a language was very fulfilling personally because it felt like I was improving at a skill. It was rewarding to be able to talk to more people and to learn more things. Because, if you talk to one person, they love polenta. You talk to another person, they also like polenta because polenta's fine. But like you get different opinions by talking to more people, and I enjoyed that. I'm sorry, that was rambling toward the end, but I hopefully answered the question.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, Renata, would you like to make a question or somebody else? No? No?
So you can speak Spanish? Can you speak Spanish?
Right. Okay. So right now, if I try to speak Spanish, Portuguese will come out of my mouth. It's very just because I was so immersed in Brazil and in Portuguese. which is frustrating because I did some work with refugees and with migrants in the United States, and a lot of people speak Spanish, and not so many people speak Portuguese. Sometimes some people from Haiti would speak Portuguese because they spent time in Brazil, but that was about it. So if I try to speak Spanish now, it will be Portuguese that comes out. But when I was in Brazil, people would sometimes ask me if I was from Argentina, because I had a Spanish accent to some words, and I would use Spanish words instead of Portuguese words. This was a problem because I was living with my host mom and with another Fulbrighter, another person on my program. Her name was Barbara, and Barbara could also speak Spanish. And so what happened was we didn't learn Portuguese words sometimes. Our host mom learned Spanish words from what we were calling it, and she just would not tell us when we were wrong. So I had a few times where I went to speak to, like, for example, in Spanish, ¿estás seguro? Means, are you sure? But not in Portuguese, right? In Portuguese, it means, are you safe? So when a friend offered to give me a ride to my house, I was like, oh, are you sure? ¿Estás seguro? He's like, yeah, I'm really safe. Like, I don't know why you're asking me that. And that was when I learned to say, like, what's the, or tem certeza, like, right? That's when I learned, like, how to say, are you sure, in Portuguese, because my host mom would not, we said "estás seguro?" or "estás segura?" and she's like, yeah, I'm totally sure, because she knew what we meant, but other people didn't. So
I know that a lot of people in America think we speak Spanish.
yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
common.
Yeah. I had that a few times too. I would tell people I was in Brazil, and they say, oh, you speak Spanish? I'm like, well, sort of before, but now no, because they speak Portuguese. But a lot of Americans don't necessarily know a lot about other countries. Depends.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I have already asked you about that, but maybe not for this audience. Do you have some concerns or perhaps an opinion about our Brazilian accent, speaking English? Do you see any difference? Is it cute? Some people say that we say like Biggie. It is something like, oh, so cute, right? Because of these vowel sounds in the end, but I don't know.
Okay.
Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, it depends. And I have from my perspective, I really like the Brazilian accent because it reminds me of being in Brazil, which was a time that I was very happy. I think a lot of the Brazilian accent is cute because of the endings. I remember when I learned that the word picnic in Portuguese is piquenique. I thought that, like, I loved that. I thought it was so funny. Learning learning the Brazilian pronunciation of words that come from English, like piquenique, like, is a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed it. I think I was lucky to be in Caxias do Sul because I feel like the accent from people in Caxias was a lot easier for me to speak than elsewhere in Brazil. It was sometimes a challenge, like I said, in Salvador or in Rio, where all of a sudden I need to start doing sh sounds and like j sounds more, and I can't say the R and I can't say the L as much as I can in Caxias do Sul. Yeah, so I think I was lucky that way, that the accent in Caxias was a little bit easier for me with my background to pick up than elsewhere in Brazil. But yeah, I think the Brazilian accent is a lot of fun. And this is a quick dumb thing, but once in a while, as I walk through New York, I'll be behind groups of tourists, and sometimes they will be tourists from Brazil, and they'll be speaking Portuguese, and I'll be walking behind them, like trying to listen in to practice, like to see what they were saying. It was like, dude, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, okay, it's nothing insightful, but it was still fun.
All right, very nice. We were talking, teacher Rita and I, we were talking some weeks ago, I guess, before we stopped this for this quarantine. We were talking about how different it is listening to, for example, a Baiano person or a Paulista person speaking English and a Gaúchos person, because as you said, they have a stronger accent in the modern tongue, in yes, their language, right? The Portuguese they speak. And perhaps, I don't know, perhaps our Portuguese is, it's a better word, like cleaner, without so many marks, you know? Maybe that's the reason that it sounds less or softer, not that heavy.
Yeah, it was easier to understand for sure. And I think even before coming to Brazil, because my audio course, I think, was more of a Paulista accent, and I learned, so that was more accessible for me in Caxias than like a Carioca accent, for example.
All right.
Yes, I was at a program with people from all the states of Brazil, and I could hear the difference in the accent when they speak English. I don't know if you know the program. It's English Immersion Program. It's from the United States Embassy here in Brazil, you know?
I think I've heard of it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was one of them last year, and it was a nice experience. Yes.
That's cool. What was that like?
How I feel with the experience. Yes.
Yeah. Was the immersion program where you and people from all different states would come to one place and speak English together?
Yes. Brasilia, the capital.
Brasilia.
Yes. Yes, we could only speak English during 1 week, and I felt nervous, but it was really nice to have this experience, and this gave me more confidence. You know, I could speak more.
Yeah, that's great. I think that confidence is so important. And yeah. Go on.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Hinata, if you had more stuff to say.
No, I wasn't speaking. No problem. Yes. I was just saying about the accent. You can hear the difference very, very much.
I think for just as one other, it's an interesting point you brought up about confidence, and I've been lucky to travel a little bit in my life and go to some different places, and I think the biggest skill that I learned from doing that is being willing to mess up, to take chances, and to say things wrong. Is just because, like, the first time I left the United States to go visit somewhere that didn't speak English, I did an exchange program with Germany. And when I was there, I remember I learned a little bit, like how to order an ice cream cone. And I was so nervous to say it. And I was afraid to speak up. I was afraid I would pronounce something wrong. I was afraid that the person wouldn't understand. And I went up, I got to the front of the line. I said, "Ein Kugel Hasselsnuss," like this one scoop of hazelnut ice cream, please. I still remember that phrase because I was so proud of myself. And they gave me my hazelnut ice cream, and that was huge. I was like, wow, I used the language, I got ice cream. That it works out so well. But even when I went to Brazil, because of experiences like that, I knew just to use the language that I have, try my best. I don't know all the words. I don't know how to make a lot of the sounds. Just try it and get better. And that was like, it's tough to convey that to, and then, yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice, I guess, is just be okay with making mistakes, because that's how you learn.
I feel very glad when you say that, because most of the teachers, they keep saying these from day one to until the advanced levels. We say the same thing: take your chances, make mistakes, try to speak. This is the only way to learn. And that's very nice, listening to somebody who is a native speaker of English and who tries to learn other languages saying the same thing. This is very good, very nice.
Yeah, well, I had language teachers growing up, and they said, just practice and just say it. And I said, no, I'm scared. But it really makes a difference. It's just like, it's hard to say it if you haven't experienced it. But yeah, it makes a big difference, because that's how you start. You gotta start somewhere.
That's true. That's nice. Adam, I don't know, we are almost out of the time, like we've passed it already from the 8 p.m. I know some people here, like Renata, she was willing to ask you something about some things she is very keen on, and I believe some other people would enjoy a lot getting to know something about that. Renata, do you know what I mean?
Yes, series, TV shows. Yes. I know that some series here in Brazil can be more famous than they are there in America, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I want to know what are the most common series you watch there?
Ooh, the most common series. Okay, so the last big series in the United States, and I don't know if this hit Brazil, was called Tiger King.
No, I don't
know. It is
know.
about a guy who grows tigers?
Yeah. Yeah, someone.
It's like kind of
it's
tiger
about
zoo.
a man. Yeah, it's a crazy documentary, and it's sort of trashy because, yeah, the people involved,
I think I saw 2 episodes of that.
Crazy, but that was the last very popular. What did you think?
In fact, I watched only 2 episodes and I didn't go further because it was a bit silly for me. But it is on Netflix. Maybe if someone wanna check this, it is there.
Yep. Yeah, it is there.
I've never watched it.
That was the last very popular. It's sort of fun. It depends on what you like, but that was very popular.
I know here in Brazil a lot of people are fan of Grey's Anatomy, you know.
Oh really? Grey's Anatomy? Huh.
Yes. It's very popular here in Brazil. Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if Outlander is from America. I don't know.
No, it is
no,
Scottish. Yes.
It's a good question. It might, maybe it's BBC.
Yes. But it's famous here too. I can't remember any more series.
I remember one that
Grey's Anatomy is
That is La Casa de Papel. Maybe it reached America.
Yep, I haven't seen it, but I see it's popular on Netflix. I should watch it though. Well, I had.
Have you ever? Sorry.
Go on.
Sorry, sir. Have you ever watched any series from Brazil?
I would
Like
have liked.
Coisa Mais Linda? Yeah.
No, So I wanted to, but when I would watch TV in Brazil, it would be what my host mom is watching, and she would always watch like American TV shows just dubbed in Portuguese. I'm like, no, I want to watch Portuguese shows or Brazilian shows. So no, I haven't seen any. Do you have recommendations?
Coisa Mais Linda. And 30%, 3%, sorry, 3%. That is a very famous. Do you know this one? Yes?
I've heard of it. I
3%.
haven't seen it. Yeah, but other.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yes. And I'm gonna watch the one you told me.
Oh. Okay. You should, because you want to watch it, not because I told you to watch it. So.
What? Sorry?
I don't want to be responsible for telling you to watch Tiger King. So.
Okay.
But if you want
let's pretend it's someone else.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Adam, maybe you have questions about questions to ask to us. Go on. Yeah. Take your chance.
So, I know I asked about this a little bit. I want to hear more about how you guys are responding to the coronavirus. You said what the big changes are, what people are talking about by you, because that's something that I don't really see in the news. I just see the headlines from the major newspapers. So I want to know how people are living on a day-to-day basis.
Somebody to answer? You see, Adam, they are not living in Brazil. They don't have answers to you.
Okay.
Well, maybe I can start and somebody get encouraged to help me. I believe as we are living in the countryside, we don't face exactly what is really happening in big cities. Because here we have just fewer cases and for example, the stores, the supermarket, the restaurants, they are still open and with some restrictions. People must wear masks in the streets. The schools, all the schools are closed. So there are like 2 months already that we don't have classes, presential classes.
Wow.
Yes, public and private schools and language courses, universities, everything is closed. So we migrated to online universe and then we are trying to deal with all this new situation. Some people are going to work. Most of people are going to work. And in some places they are reducing, like instead of working 8 hours, they are working 5 hours per day. But I believe the biggest changes, they are being faced in bigger cities. For example, Porto Alegre or São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. And I don't know exactly how long we're going to take in this model of living or routine, because as people are saying, this virus is interiorizing, like it's coming to the countryside every day more and more. So maybe we are a bit late into this. People, help me with the answers.
Hi. And I think the most challenging thing is to stay at home, because there is a lot of people who continue going to the streets and doing the same thing as before. So I think it's most challenging thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
People who had contact with sick people, they continue going to the supermarket. They are not wearing masks. It's difficult.
Yeah, it's something like this. We have some instructions. Some people follow, some other, they don't. So very Brazilian way of life, you know.
Yeah, I think the same thing in the United States. Some people are following, some people aren't. It just depends. But for me and my family here, I have 3 siblings. So we are all back home. I had one sister in China before. My other sister was away at college. And now we're all back home, and we don't leave the house. It's just like, if we need groceries, my parents will go and get them, so they're the only 2 people going outside, and all the rest of us are waiting until things get better.
Yeah, I think most of the families here in Brazil are doing something similar. But some people must go and work because otherwise they can't have any kind of any money.
Yeah.
We have some help from the government, but it's not that much. The news we have from the US, for example, is I don't know, not twice, but maybe 6 times the money that you were receiving, or some people in the US are receiving, compared to what some people are receiving here in Brazil. So, as our economy is not as strong as yours, we have these kind of problems. And I don't know, I was looking to Virginia because she works in a bank here in Brazil. Maybe she can tell us something about how people struggle going to the bank or going to figure out about money and things like that. Maybe Vivi, you can say something.
Okay, I will try. So at the bank we are some people are working at home, and we are receiving the people only with hora marcada. Help me, Sami.
With a schedule?
Yes, with a schedule. So, but some people doesn't respect the things and the self-attendment sale are almost cheia. Ai, meu Deus.
It is full of people, crowded.
Full of people, yes. All the time, every day. So it's very difficult to the people understand the situation, and to us explain for the people they doesn't please stay home. You can stay home and use other ways to go to the bank with online
resources.
Yes, and this is the difficult. But I think the people will. I think the people will make the things when the virus quanto mais o vírus chegar perto. Entendeu?
Yes, when the virus reaches known people, like family or friends,
Yes.
then they get scared.
Yes.
I believe so. Unfortunately, I think so.
When you say the bank operates on a schedule, is that a schedule for workers who are working at certain times, or is that a schedule for when people can visit the bank?
The people who visit the bank.
Okay.
We schedule the time who people to attend and the people to help the people and make things.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds tricky.
The bank is closed.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's all these things of normal life just change.
Yes.
So can I ask one other question? Do we have enough time?
Yeah, go on.
So I am curious, what why do you guys want to learn English? Like, what are you hoping to use it for?
Tricky question. Yes.
Go on, girls, you can start. Renata, Tana, Pamela. Where is Pamela? My students, go on. Vivi.
Pamela, go on. Where is Pamela? Oh. I can say something and then someone can say too. I started studying English when I was 11 years old. So I was young. And I didn't want to study English at the time. I was there because my parents wanted me to be there. And I started enjoying the language. And I got very, good at, I learned easy, so and now I like the language and now I'm teaching. So yes, it's something I've never imagined having this experience, and it's been really nice. And I think you open a lot of doors to a lot of new experience, to travel, so I guess that's the point we are learning English, most of the people. That's my story.
Cool, thank you.
Pamela, now it's you. Ela botou pressão em mim antes, agora ela vai.
Well, I think I started learning English because my boss, I don't remember, obrigou.
Yes, for sure. I am her boss, okay, just to let it clear.
Okay.
And I applied her to learn English. I said, okay, you're not studying. Yeah, you're gonna study English right now and go.
And I studied for 6 years.
Wow.
But I'm not a good student.
Oh.
I prefer Spanish.
Oh, why do you prefer Spanish?
Really? Wow.
Era só pra ver a carinha da Sam.
Oh, so it's not true. Não é verdade.
I think it is true. I think she prefers Spanish. It's easier for her because she's just in the basic Spanish.
Yes.
When she arrives into the tenses, the verbs, she's gonna change for English again. But this is a very beautiful question. Maybe all of you could say a word about why are you learning English?
Well, I started learning English because I always liked to listen to music in English, and I really wanted to understand what they are saying. And then I studied for 5 years, and then I stopped it. And now I come back to learn more. And I hope in the future I can visit many countries and US also. And that's it.
That's really cool.
I would like to learn Italian language, but I didn't the Italian, so I started English. But I love it to learn because I understand more the other people's, the other culture, the other countries, and I understand now the music, the films that I watch now, and it's amazing.
Yeah, when you speak a language, it feels like you're part of a new community.
Yes.
It's a cool feeling.
So there are some people, they didn't say even hello, like Ivana, you're so quiet. Elaides left, you see? She let us like, okay, I'm not here. Eduarda, you can say something. Natana, Giovanna, so please.
Eduarda, please say hello at least.
Hello.
Eduarda.
I am shy. Tá certo?
Yes.
I don't know if this is helpful for you to hear, but in the United States, I can be a shy person too. I don't like to talk to many people, but when I went to Brazil, I knew I couldn't do that, and I needed to talk to people because I needed to ask for help. I needed to learn, and so I made the decision that when I'm in Brazil, I'm going to not be shy. I'm going to talk to people, and after a while, that decision felt more natural to me. And because even if it felt weird at first, it becomes more normal. And that helped me, at least. So everyone's different. But for me, I'm more shy in the US than I was in Brazil.
That's nice. I knew you were shy. You have a kind of shy style, you know, more reserved person. Not only in the US, I think you can't get rid of it. It's part of your personality.
Yeah, reserved is a good word. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It was funny, just very quickly, when I would talk to people in Caxias and ask them, "Oh, how is Caxias different from other places in Brazil?" And everyone would say, "Oh, Caxienses are so cold. They're not friendly." And I'm like, "Oh, it just feels normal to me. Like this is great. Just what I'm used to from coming from America." But yeah, it's you can't change who you are fundamentally, but I was trying to engage in Brazil.
That's super nice. Okay, people. I feel very glad all of you could attend into this moment. It's Friday evening, and I know we have not many places to go into this quarantine time, but I know you can find some things to watch or to talk to or somebody. Then I feel very, very glad you are all here. And I want to give you the last chance of making a question, a commentary, saying something, please. It's now or never, you know?
Okay, I'm going to do a question. I'm a teacher, Adam, at Futura and a private school in Nova Prata. And I would like to know about the student situations in the United States now.
Yeah, there is like from what I hear, everyone is trying to learn from home using a computer, and that's pretty hard. It's obviously easier if you have parents and good internet, but I think those issues here are probably similar to the issue in Brazil. I know my brother is in high school and his classes were moved online, but then they actually made the classes shorter and started giving the students less homework because they found it was too stressful. Like they were sitting in front of their computer all day, and there were no distinctions between school time and between home time. And I think that that's something that some adults struggle with too, working from home, from what I hear, is separating work and life. So I know those are some challenges for students here. And obviously the students who are not as wealthy have a harder time, as with a lot of things in this pandemic. But yeah, so does that answer your question?
Yes. Here in Nova Bassano, we are having online classes too, but only the language courses. For the schools, how can I say, Samira, escola estadual?
Like regular schools?
Regular schools, they don't have online classes.
Oh, really?
Yes, they have some subjects from WhatsApp, or the parents go to school to take the tasks.
Oh, wow.
It's complicated.
Yeah, that's a lot of extra work.
And then Ivana is explaining a situation that we are living here, that we are kind of a rich part of the country, you know. Yeah. We can imagine what is happening with like Northeast people, some people from the slums, we say, favelas.
Yes, slums. Yes.
And then I think there are two big differences. Like, we know that our country has like is the champion of these social differences and economic differences, but now with this pandemic, probably they are being highlighted.
Yeah.
So some people, for example, I don't know if you remember, but we still have a kind of general test to be done in the end of the high school that is called ENEM. And then some people were trying to put it off, yes, postpone it, because of this, because it was not fair to those students who were not having the chance of preparing themselves, because most of them, they can't study alone. They don't have chances to go in this way. But we have a kind of big discussion, a social discussion about. Some people would agree with my opinion here, and some others would say, no, this is bullshit. People can handle it. So this is very, very delicate, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. There are no easy answers.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard too, because you can never be perfectly equal, and there's always a discussion of what level of inequality is acceptable to most people. And yeah, big questions. No easy answers.
And is more difficult learn in our home because not is the same.
It's not the same.
Tipo, não é a mesma coisa que estar com o professor. Not is the
It's not the same as being with the teacher inside the classroom.
It's more difficult.
Yeah, I find that too. I took an online course this past year, just for fun, basically. And yeah, it was completely different from being in the classroom with the teacher. And it was harder because the teacher's not there. And if I had a question, I could try to figure out myself. But sometimes I was wrong, and I didn't know that I was wrong until later. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. At Futura, we are trying to do these kind of things, these meetings. So we are synchronous, you know, like in the same time, not giving things for the students to do by themselves. So I believe this can ease the situation, facilitate it. Because if the students, they have to face everything by themselves, as Eduarda said, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Without a guidance, it's hard.
Yeah, and that's the case with my brother, who is in high school. All of his classes are on Zoom like this.
Ah, okay, that's nice. Nice to know.
Yeah, but I don't know if other schools do that. Just his school, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, people, you have more questions? Would you like to say something? To say a nice goodbye to Adam, maybe to invite him to come to Brazil one more time, maybe after coronavirus, for sure. But I think we ran out of time. Of course, we did it. But it was a very, very big pleasure to have you here and to have all of you people, because I don't know, I think, as Adam said, once we are learning a new language, we create a new community. And once we are learning English in Brazil, we have to organize our own community, because it is kind of hard to speak to a native speaker all the time or every day. So I thought it could be a very nice opportunity for us all, having him here with us. And I'd like to thank you a lot for that, for your time, for your patience, for preparing some answers and thinking about us. Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming here, people.
It's my pleasure. I really enjoy talking about my experiences in Brazil and being able to reconnect a little bit with new people who live there. So I appreciate your questions, and I appreciate your attention and you being here. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, so thank you so much. I'm gonna end up this meeting, and I was recording this, so if you want, perhaps I can send you by mail the full video to Adam, and maybe if people want to, I can handle it. Okay. All right, people. So have a nice weekend. Thank you for attending this meeting, and take care. Okay, be safe.
Stay well. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye, people.
Okay, Adam, thank you so much. It was very, very cool. Very
Yeah.
nice. Your attention and your answers. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was. They asked some good questions, and I remember being asked those questions 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, I should have thought of that. I should have had better answers prepared. But you know, it's been a while, so it was very nice to reconnect.
Yeah, we try to invite all the students, the English speakers, but as everything here is like this, maybe 20% will attend, but that's fine, that's okay. I'm getting used to that, you know, to having a no as an answer.
But it's harder to draw people out over the computer than it is in class as well.
Yeah, that's nice. So I hope to see you soon. Maybe one day I can go to the US or you come to Brazil again, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
We miss you a lot at university, you know. This year we talked a lot about you and about Barbara, especially you, because the former students we had, the next ones after you and the formers for us, they were a bit like not that committed as you used to be, and and we didn't have a good experience as we had with the first group.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But I think it is not a problem of the program itself. Maybe it was something personal, the way people face the situation, you know.
Yeah, it's tricky to know.
Yeah.
I think also I heard that the program is now going to require background in English teaching.
Oh yeah.
Which they didn't. Did you hear about that?
No.
That's what I talked to someone who came back who was there, I think last year in a different part of the country, but I was talking with her and she was saying that the Fulbright Commission for Brazil now wants people who have a background, who have like a TOEFL certification or some equivalent, which I think makes sense in some ways. I know that I don't have that certificate, and so I would not have had this opportunity if that were the case for me. But it could maybe at the same time, like, I'm not an educator. I think that students deserve to have people who know what they're doing teaching them. But yeah, I don't know, mixed feelings.
You know, we had a professor in the beginning of the semester. She was a linguistics professor, and she stayed maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And after all these crazy situations started, and she headed back to the US.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because of safety and health. And I think it was the right thing to be done. But I think it was the program who required her to go back.
Oh, yeah.
Because of safety.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know some other programs like Peace Corps, Fulbright, other Fulbrighters were brought back to the US. I didn't mention this in the call, but the Scholar Rescue Fund, the program I work for right now, is run by the same parent organization as Fulbright is. So I'm still I still hear about what happens with Fulbright because we're under the same organization, and I know Fulbright was extremely busy with coronavirus, making sure everyone could get back safe. And of course, there are foreigners in the U.S. who need to go to their homes too, and they're very busy.
And here in Brazil, we have a very bad situation, you know. I think we didn't reach the peak of it, not yet, and we have more than 20,000 people, who died.
Yeah, that's really sad.
I know that you are you have a bigger number in the US, but I believe you are maybe 15 or 20 days ahead of us in terms of this pandemic thing. And you know who is dying? Old people, poor people, Black people, and this is this situation. This is very, very upsetting.
Yeah, there aren't really words for it, but it's tough.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know some people that were here into this meeting, perhaps they didn't have all these, they didn't see this big picture. And some of them would be very, very in favor of all these policies that our government is taking, but I don't. Our president is like crazy nuts. He doesn't know if he ate enough, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you think Trump is crazy, you must meet Bolsonaro. He is like terrible.
I mean, I was in Brazil for the election. That was
I remember.
Yeah, it was. I spent a lot of time thinking about those similarities and differences, and I mean, yeah, just bad all around, basically. So, yeah. I wish it weren't the case. You know, I wish it were that he took office and chilled out a little bit, and like, but that's not what happened.
Okay, Adam. I don't want to take you even more time that I already took. So thank you again.
Yeah, you're very welcome. It was great to talk with you again.
Okay, same to you. So I'll be off. So saying bye-bye, and that's it. Thanks again.
Cool. Sounds good. Have a nice weekend.
Oh, you too.
Bye.
Bye.